Are you seeing double? No. How you doing, guys? Professor EDC with another first. Well, this is more of a review video. I've had one of these for a much longer period of time. This is the Kizer T1 Task 1, made in collaboration between Kizer and Ulrich Hennicke, a German knife maker. Now, this is a classic of Kizer. This has been in the market for quite some time, and I remember back in the day when it came out, I was just, I loved the profile of this knife since it came out. I wasn't able to get a hold of it back then, but as soon as I was able to, man, just really love this very EDCable knife. But what has Kizer done? We have a higher tier Kizer right here, titanium S35BN, frame lock, 3D milled titanium, right? Running on bearings. And see, that's what I'm going I'm going to talk about the detent on this one. But Kizer has very recently given us a budget opportunity of the Task 1 made in micarta stainless steel liners, liner lock, and 154 cm, also running on bearings. Are they the same? Well, apparently they are, but there are some differences, and I'd like to talk about those differences. The most obvious, of course, is going to be the steel, and that to each their own. I love both steels, they're both great steels. Liner lock and the frame lock. I do prefer a frame lock, but the detent is very strong, perhaps too strong. And you just saw that when I try to spidey flick this blade. So I gotta if I want to spidey flick this knife, I really have to touch upon the stud in air without touching the frame lock. Otherwise, it just, there you see, it's not going to open, or that's going to happen. And the studs on this knife are pretty aggressive. I'm still thinking about sanding just a bit, at least on this side, but they're pretty aggressive, and you can feel it in your hands. I do prefer the studs on the budget T1, and in case I want to change them, it's going to be easier on this one. So kudos for that. Also, the action on the budget T1 is better than the action on the original T1, on the higher end Task 1. As you can see, it's not drop shotty. You gotta give it a little push. I still love that, you know. It doesn't have to be drop shotty. But anyways, as you can see, the action on this one is just that good. Clip. The clips are different, of course. And let's see the portability on each of them. This one is more of a discrete carry, discrete portability. No problem there. And the original one, or the higher end one is not going to be as discreet. Something to consider for those of you who take into consideration portability. In my case, that's something that really doesn't matter. But anyways, what else? The contouring on the handle is, of course, it's going to be a bit different, but it's the same at the same time. This is a 3D milled handle. This one is also contoured, but it's also milled in the shape of the original one. You might not see it, but you can certainly feel it. But let's go into some of to our specs before I continue. It's a great size for EDC, at least for me. It's 7.5 inches full length, 3.1 inches of cutting edge, and a quarter, sorry about that, quarter of an inch, that's speeding up, quarter of an inch, 3.25 of an inch of the blade length. How about closed? Closed is 4.75 of an inch of length. Now with that wide blade, that's gonna give us enough space for a good tapering down. And this is 120 thousandths, around 110 thousandths stock thickness, but behind the edge it's going to be less than 20 thousandths behind the edge. Let me see right there. Yeah, it's, look, it says 10 thousandths behind the edge. Not so sure, but I know it's less than 20 thousandths, because not only does it feel like it in hand, but when going through material, you can sense that opposition of the material, and it's just a great slicer and cutter. How about if we compare weights? Of course, the micarta is going to be lighter, and ounces, there we go, let's see, 4.23 ounces, the titanium, and 3.58 ounces, so a whole ounce almost in difference. Another big difference is going to be the price, of course. Not the low end, but the budget. The budget Kizer is going to run at about half the price of the titanium or higher tier Kizer. So, and of course, you can think of the materials, but when using it, you know, guys, I am not so sure which one I would keep. I love micarta, love titanium. Both steels are great. I do prefer the detent, because the detent on this one is just perfect. The action is fantastic. The detent on the higher end one is just too strong. I might do something to fix it. Still love it. You know, it doesn't have to be drop shotty for me to keep a knife. I've had this for a few months, used it, food prep, feather sticking, and going through so through cardboard and whatnot, and it's a great user. It really is a great user. Comfortable in hand? Heck yeah, both of them. And one of the things I do enjoy about natural materials such as this micarta is the feel in hand, because it's just warm. You know, like when you hold wood or bone, it's just that feel, different feel sensation in hand. But let's do some comparisons. Here we have the Victorinox Huntsman and the Jack Wolf Javelina. The Rat 2, the Rat 1, and as you can see, this is a good size comparison, as will be the next one. This is about 1 centimeter longer than the Rat 2 and a good 2 centimeters shorter than the Rat 1. So it's a mid-size folder. Just a very good size, at least for me. And you know, you guys knowing that I enjoy bigger folders. But hey, we keep on learning, right? We keep on evolving, and well, at least that's what I try. Here we have the PM2, and where's the bug out? The Benchmade bug out. So it's right in the vicinity of the bug out, just the same size, both of them. Of course, it's going to be thicker, and since the handles are contoured, it's going to feel in the hand much better than these type of scales. You know, I think most of the times, at least in my hand, a contoured scale feels just better in my hand. What about you guys? What do you think? So, what do you guys think? Which one would you keep? The higher tier? The budget edition? I think both of them are fantastic, and anyone you're able to get is a good folder, and a classic folder, one of the best that Kizer still has up to this day. Hope you enjoyed it. Professor EDC out.